What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Solo Leveling Arise video. My apologies, guys. Normally I have a couple videos already out for you and ready for action, but last night Daddy Dearest here fell asleep on the couch at 7 p.m. out like a light, and I woke up, went to bed, and here I am with my family now. So they're actually we just went to the park, got back. So I want to do one video before I go back to them. Obviously they're chilling right now, and that is to cover the most important stats for each character. Now I did this a long time ago. I didn't have a chance to update it because there have been brand new characters, so I'm going to go through every SSR. Now you can pretty much bet the majority of other SR characters, if they scale the same way, for the most part will probably be built the same way as well too, so don't stress too much about it. I will do SRs eventually, but I don't have the time right now, so we're just going to focus on SSRs at the moment, and I might do a couple SRs here and there out of like honorable mention kind of scenarios. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about them and see what we can get. Now first off, before I do that, just so you guys are aware, I did do a summon recently. I got my Sa to A2, and let me just see if I had anything else recently that I did for summons real quick. These daily tickets have really been helping. Draw history, what did I get? Oh, I got Song Chiul, so nothing good. Anyways, so let's go through this. I just wanted to make sure. I thought I did get something that's nice, but it wasn't. It was the other one. All right, so let's start off with the top. Do Alicia first. So I'm going to go through every important stat. Now, why am I doing this? Clearly because I do a lot of account reviews for you guys, and I notice a lot of people don't know what to focus on even after watching my video. So this is going to be dedicated for those who want to understand how to build a character. Now, artifact sets, you guys already have a video for all artifacts. That's easy to do. Go and check out that video. Now, when you get those set artifacts, what stats should you be looking for? So the best way to tell is if you go to skills, you can usually see what the unit scales off of. So for example, Alicia scales off of attack. So this is my free-to-play account, by the way. I'm going to do everything on free-to-play, okay? So you guys can see here, attack. Now, the next stat's going to be most important here. Just so everyone is aware, additional attack is more important for hunters. Attack percentage is more important for Junu. That is a common question asked. The only percentage that you want different is HP, because HP is such a high number that usually scales better. So HP percentage is usually the only stat that you want as a percentage for hunters, but everything else additional wise works usually better, okay? Just so you guys are aware. Now, what works for Alicia? Well, it's easy. You go to your little stats sheet, and what you want to focus on for her is critical hit damage, critical hit. Critical hit, you want 50%. Critical hit damage, you want above 175. Try to aim for about like 190 if you can. Next is going to be damage increase, then defense penetration. So it'll be always attack, critical hit, and critical damage. At this point, you want a 175 and 150. Pretend that, now remember, this is pretty much the status quo for all DPS. You want at least 45% critical hit, and you want at least 175 critical hit damage, okay? Damage increase, obviously very important, and defense penetration, very important. The other one here you want to focus on, of course, is giving her the water damage. You guys can see I don't have a good water ring, so I'm on light, but that water damage is very important and only is affecting units that are weak against water. Keep that in mind. All right, so there you guys go. That is Alicia. Now Cha, same scenario. You focus on the exact same things. You guys understand what the artifacts you want, and now in terms of her skills, you can see she bases everything off attack. You can also see crit obviously plays a big role in here. See, she increases her critical hit damage. That's another way to tell. And then for her, again, 45%. You guys can see I'm a little bit below 175. Again, a little bit below because I put all my stuff onto Mirai. By the way, that's the reason why it looks like this. Defense penetration 8.82%. Again, damage increase is next, and then you want defense penetration, and then of course for her you want light. Okay, you guys can see light right there. So again, attack, crit damage, damage increase, and then defense penetration. Now, it used to be defense penetration first before damage increase because we weren't able to get a lot of damage increase, but now we can because the stats are higher on damage increase with the newer artifacts, right? So definitely want to focus on that. All right, Mirai. Now, Mirai is interesting because she actually gets a ton of crit from her weapon. She gets a ton of crit from her skills. So you actually don't need to max out her crit, but her attack is the most important thing. So same scenario falls for her. You guys can see though, for me, I do have 50% and a lot of it. So I should swap this out for Cha, to be honest. Cha should probably benefit a little bit more, but her attack needs to be high. Then you want to focus a little bit on crit. For her, crit, honestly, at 30% is more than enough. Now, the reason why I like to get to 50 is because when you fight against people in the red CP, or if you fight people with a lot of crit resistance, higher end enemies, the more crit you have, obviously the better. Even with skills, it'll still matter more. So having 50% will not hurt you. It'll still benefit you a lot. And then the crit damage, of course, 175, we're just about there. Damage increase needs to be way higher for her, but it's only at 3.49%. And then defense penetration, okay? This will apply pretty much through 1, 2, 3. Just want to make sure I get all the characters here. 4. Seeing if I'm missing anybody else from the draw. Who do I not have? Yeah, that's it. Those 4. Okay, so the exact same scaling I just showed you is going to be Alicia, is going to be SM Beck, is going to be Mirei and Cha. All right, those four are exact same setup. Now, let's go take a step back for a second and talk about two units that are also DPS, but will scale differently, okay? We're going to talk about Yu Se-yun, and the reason why Yu Se-yun scales differently, of course, is the fact that she actually works better off of defense penetration, okay? You still want to give her some crit damage, but most of your focus should actually be on defense penetration. You can tell this because you can see her skill here increases defense penetration for Sun Jinwoo, right? You can also see over here, majority of her skills also give her defense penetration, right? Like if you look further down, right there, A2, defense penetration, right? Now you can't go wrong with crit damage with her. You can't. It still works really, really, really well. But you actually do want to change things up a little bit by giving her, like, for example, these crit hit damage boosts. That's all I have right now for this set. You'd actually want to switch these to defense penetration, okay? So for her, it works a little bit differently. It'll still be attack, okay? It'll still be crit hit rate, and then you want to actually look at defense pen. Now, defense pen for her, I roughly like to go about 25%. On my main account, it's about 30%. And then crit hit damage, you still want to aim around 170% if you possibly can from your accessories on the right here, okay? So these accessories here. So for her, it's attack, then defense penetration, then attack, crit hit rate, defense penetration, then crit damage, and then damage increase, okay? Damage increase is always going to be the best stat if you can from a raw damage perspective, but it's the hardest one to get. But you can see here, even then, she's got a really good amount of it here at 10.89, and this is, again, free to play. The whale account has way more, but I just want to show you guys this. And, of course, you want to definitely give her fire here, okay? So that's going to be an important one as well, too. Now, the other DPS here in the list is going to be Choi. Now, Choi obviously plays way differently than everybody else. So when you're building Choi, you actually want to avoid giving him any crit rate, because if you don't know this already, Choi cannot crit, right? You can see here, Choi cannot deal crit hits, but his attack is increased by 40%. They need to change this, obviously. I would scale this down to 20%, give him crit hit rates. They would fix him as a unit altogether. But nonetheless, he cannot crit, so you actually want to avoid that. So what you want to do is you want to give him anything that stacks with attack. Now, this is obviously not optimal. I was just testing out the set here to see how the stacks work, but you want to just go all additional attack, all attack percentage, all damage increase, all defense pen, okay? That's all you want to focus on with him. And same thing with here. You want to take away all the crit hit damage. You want to do all damage increase. You want to do all defense penetration for him with attack and attack percentage. Those are the only things that matter for him. And then fire damage. Okay, so he is actually easier to build than most other units because of that reason, because all you got to really do is focus on the attack. All you got to do is really focus on defense pen and damage increase, and then fire, making it a lot easier to utilize him as a character. So definitely, if you plan to build him, focus around that, okay? That's a very important one. All right, now let's move on. We did all the DPS. Let's talk about the breakers, then we'll do some support and some hybrids, okay? So the DPS is done. Let's talk about the breakers. Now, there's two types of breakers. There's defensive breakers and there's HP breakers. HP breakers are straightforward. You want to give them as much HP as possible, and that will pretty much make them hit harder because their HP equals their attack, okay? So you can tell by looking at the skills, and you see they scale off of the max HP. So for Sa, for example, you want HP percentage helmet, you want additional HP, and as much crit rate as possible. So for her, crit rate matters a lot because she scales off of crit damage because of her skills are all crit related pretty much. And that's an important thing to know. So that's why the greed set works so well for her, right? So like all the heavy kicks, all the attacks and everything are all crit hit damage. You can see her additional crit hit damage. You can check her weapon, right? That's another example where she scales off of crit hit damage. So she is a very, very powerful DPS breaker. She's probably the best DPS breaker in the game. So with that being said, HP all across the board with crit rate as your number 2. All right, so again, crit rate is really low for me. I'm trying to get new pieces for her so I can level them up. You want her at the very least 50% to 45% crit hit rate. So you guys can see, like, all of this needs to be adjusted. I need to get more gold to do this. Like, that would be a better option for her. But again, I'm losing HP there, right? But it will probably raise her CP. So that's another one right there. This is another one here that needs crit hit rate. And then, of course, the crit damage is what you want to focus on boots. Okay, so crit damage for sure on boots. And then on this side, you want to put as much crit hit damage as you possibly can, mixed with HP, just to boost that as much as possible. You can see here, her crit damage is not bad. It needs to be leveled up a little bit more, but her crit hit rate is absolutely atrocious. So that is a problem for me. And then from there, you want to go you want to go damage increase and then defense penetration. Okay, so again, both are fairly low. I mean, defense pen is not bad, but damage increase needs to be increased. So this is something I definitely need to work on. This is a unit that needs some love, but of course, we don't have that much gold. It's free to play, so I'm doing the best I possibly can, right? All right. Now, moving over to another HP breaker. Let's see, is there another one on the SSR list? Emma. Emma's the exact same thing. All right, the exact same thing. Emma needs a little bit of love on my end on my free-to-play account, but same scenario for her. You want to build her with the same thing, where you want to focus on HP first, then crit rate, crit damage, defense pen, damage increase, okay? Or damage increase, then defense pen for her, okay? So same thing as don't build her any different. The biggest difference, obviously, is going to be her fire damage versus her whatever the ring. This is a ring that needs to be altered, but you want to go full greed set. This is BOT, by the way. This is the reason why she's set up this way, just so you guys are understanding. All right, and then we have two other breakers here, I believe, on the list. Yeah, we have two defensive breakers. We have ourselves the God Jinchul, obviously, and then we have Beck. Okay, both are going to be built very similarly as well. Both using greed set. You want to actually focus on defense for them, so defense, additional defense or defense percentage as a substat, and then you want to put crit damage, and then damage increase for these guys, and then their affinity here for whatever is their proper element. So wind for Jinchul, and then light for Beck. Okay, so that's how that's going to work out. That's how your breakers are going to work the exact same way. Don't stray from that, okay? It's very, very important to stay the same path. And you guys, again, if you want to know what artifacts work for them, greed set's the best one. Then go back and check out the artifact video to see which ones you want to focus on. I'm hoping you guys actually watch this, because when I do these reviews, I'm just shocked at how many people don't understand what to look for stats, and it blows my mind. So I'm hoping this video will help a lot of those folks who can't get on the list or just don't have the time to sit through an account review. And this should hopefully walk you through it, right? All right, now let's go over to the supports. There are 3 major supports here on the SSR list. I think the only difference on one of them is going to be how you're building them. So let's talk about Mei Lin and Min. Okay, Mei Lin and Min. Mei Lin is way easier. Mei Lin, you just want to do straight up all HP as much as you possibly can. Healing given as well too, to provide her a little bit of heal. It's not a necessity, but healing given actually gives a lot of CP, which is the reason why I recommend it if you're looking to get past the red. But with her, you want to go HP. You want to go damage increase as much as you can. You want to go water damage. You can put crit and crit damage on her if you like. You can see mines are fairly high. But HP is all that really matters for her. So her focus is going to be very similar to Suz in terms of how you build her. But of course, the set is going to be the blessing set or the one-hit kill set, or the, check out the other sets that I put on there. There's quite a few of them. You can focus on that. So Mei Lin's built very similarly. Now the boots here, I like to go HP for her. Min is a little different. Min, because he gives you crit damage when he's under the skies, I like to give him the crit hit damage boots because that'll help a lot more. You can see these boots actually have +3 HP, right? So the more crit hit damage you have for him, the better, because he actually provides a portion of that to your team when you have him as a hunter, right? So very, very important to build him that differently. And then of course, everything else scales off of HP, so you want to focus on that. All right, lastly, we have our hybrid support, which is going to be Lee Bora. Now, Lee Bora can be built couple different ways. You can build her as a full support if you like, because she does support units with her dark circles and her charm ability, but you really want to build her DPS. So ideally you want to build her DPS with a little bit of support that she provides you. Okay, so for her personally, I would go the following stats, right? Because she does scale off of attack. You guys can see this. I would build her attack, crit damage, damage increase, and then defense penetration. So build her just like a DPS, but you can work on your sets. You can provide her different outcomes. You can give her, again, half support, full DPS. It's up to you how you support that. But that essentially is it, guys, for all of the units. I think I've covered everyone. If you are looking on how to build SRs, think of the same thing. If you see, for example, Kang scales off of attack, think of Alicia or Cha. If you see Jinho is a breaker because he scales off of defense, think of Jinchul, think of Beck. If you see someone like Nam who's a breaker who scales off of HP, think of Saw or Emma, right? That's how you're going to build them. If you think of a hybrid unit like Park Hee-jin, think of what I just said in regards to Lee Bora, right? You can build her hybrid, you can build her DPS. It's up to you how you want to do it. So that's the best way to tell, guys, is to by looking at the stats and seeing what the skills scale off of and understanding the unit's utility. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. This is Payne. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.